Welcome to the Kong Summit. This is Sarika Atal. Today, I'm going to share how Kong powered the acceleration of our externalized innovation via APIs. Before I do that, let me share a little bit about myself. I support the enterprise architecture function at Papa John's that is guided by a strategic priority to build a technology infrastructure that enables our business operations. In addition to this immensely talented group, I also support the enterprise platform engineering team as well as the commerce platform team. This team is at the center of the technology strategy for tapping into innovation wherever it resides. I have been with Papa John's for 12 years and supported e-commerce in many ways, including the recent emerging partner channels. To keep pace with the company's rapidly growing menu innovation strategy and digital expansion, elevating the API strategy was a priority for us. Learn how the team reduced the time to market and enabled innovation with this growing list of external channels. This session will discuss deploying Kong in a hybrid environment, making use of the Kong Dev portal, and integrating to a CICD pipeline to automate deployments. Let's start with API innovation, the thing that gets everybody excited. To fully understand how Kong accelerated this, let's start with the basics of API strategy at Papa John's. Our API architecture is based on Gartner's famous PACE-layered application strategy. Here, systems are categorized into 3 buckets: systems of record, systems of differentiation, and systems of innovation. The pace of change at the systems record is usually the slowest, and it increases with the systems of differentiation. And of course, it's the most with systems of innovation, where a rapid pace of change is required. Mapping to this, we treat our APIs in similar categories: the system, process, and experience layer APIs. Kong lives at our experience layer. As you can see, powerful business capabilities from a variety of backends can be quickly exposed to a variety of frontends. This decoupling helps us innovate rapidly without having to worry about the life cycle of the system layers. For example, our front ends could be immune to a payment processor upgrade at the back end. These layers, or Kong, don't substitute for good API hygiene, like status codes, versioning, and not breaking the contract with feature enhancements. So keep that in mind while applying this framework. With cloud adoption and disciplined agile delivery, we are at a completely different place when it comes to speed. The digital capabilities that were built across several years are now being built in months. For example, for a digital business with 70% e-commerce sales, speed is key. As technology leaders, it is imperative for us to find the bottlenecks in the SDLC and find solutions to make the work flow through the value stream at a steady pace. With our emerging channels, we found an area where the team was constantly being held up. Let's take a look. As you can see on the right side, without an API gateway, the commerce platform team would have to write a lot of custom code to bring services to market, especially as the number of food product launches increases, the number of digital channels multiplies. It would take us 2 to 4 weeks to stand up new services with regular Java Spring Boot apps. Part of the challenge the team faced came from the need to separately create and manage policies such as authorization, authentication for each service, and with multiple services to manage across several partners. Versioning and upgrades were quickly becoming a nightmare. That is almost like changing your physical room settings um, with versus using virtual backgrounds in this COVID era. Kong helped us establish this one central place to do all the administrative functions, whether it's rate limiting, security, and other traffic management policies. Some of these are also unique to specific set of APIs or partners. Some of these, again, we're not fully there yet on adoption across all these channels. However, starting with the right foundation and being disciplined about establishing and implementing the roadmap is necessary. One of our EA guiding principles is simplicity creates flexibility in the long run. As a technologist, we are going to have to continuously find ways to bring simplicity in complex environments. It can be complex, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Speaking of complexity, another dimension of complexity is having a hybrid environment. Like most other businesses, we have a distributed footprint in the cloud and on-prem. When we were evaluating an API gateway, this was one of my favorite feature sets from Kong, being able to use the same license no matter where your services are running, as well as the ability to start with open source to ensure that the architects and engineers like the product. This is so much an open source culture with modern engineering. And let's take a closer look at how we are benefiting from this. So one of the primary considerations of Papa John's cloud strategy is to build anything new in cloud. If we are not building anything new in the cloud, there has to be a real good justification for it. However, some of our rich business capabilities still exist in the data center. We have to never forget where we started and the number of revenue generating systems still live in the data center. And the Kong cluster implementation helps us expose these to internal and external consumers. I can't begin to imagine how slow this process could be if we were to build these integrations to some of the legacy apps, while other new services built fully in cloud could leverage the ingress controller. This implementation helps us power end-to-end experiences regardless of where the process or the system layer APIs reside. Also, in future, when these apps are modernized, we could keep the front end immune to this cloud migration, as we talked about the payment processor upgrade back there. So, this standardization really kind of helps us power those end-to-end experiences like mentioned before. Let's talk about my next favorite feature, the dev portal. How many of you have onboarded new partners or supported cross-domain integrations recently? Guess, what is the first thing that is asked by your front-end team? Documentation. Gone are the days or walkthroughs when we spent hours to do those and sent, manual documents attached to email. The commerce team, being closely aligned with the EA team, is rigorous about providing quality documentation. After all, who wants to answer the same questions again and again for every new client of the same API? Every time the team wants to discuss a new integration with me, I have to start with the architecture and sequence diagrams. Without these, it is hard to comprehend the full scope of the integration, the access points, the failure points, and the model definitions. So with a disciplined contract-first approach, we share Swagger docs, endpoint and model definitions as a must-have to ease with partner onboarding, and this reduces significant overhead on all the teams involved. We talked about digital speed in the time to market topic. One of the critical components of the speed enablers is a CICD pipeline. Let me show how this spans across various deployments for us. Whether it is building brand new services or reusing existing services, deploying these with YAML files in a fully integrated pipeline keeps deployment errors at bay. I don't remember the last time we were debugging a deployment issue because it was done manually. So we are yet to apply this discipline on the dev portal side, but you can see using Kong CLI, we would like to get to that state where we can create customized dev portals for our partners. Yeah, believe me, there is a need. Our marketing team can get very particular about which partner should merchandise our food products, in which ways, they can get very particular about those things. And also, some of the APIs are not necessarily needed by each client. So you need to expose only what's needed, and neither too much nor too little. And these customized partner dev portals help you get there. We're also yet to integrate Vitals with our existing APM tools to create a fully integrated dashboard. But our roots in SRE make us monitor each API consumption unique to a partner, and it's very important for us. Let me share an incident story. And yeah, I know I'm not the only one with these stories. I'm sure you have these too. So one Friday night, we had a rate limiting threshold hit that caused our store finder functions to fail. Oops. But, because of this code-based approach and fully integrated pipeline, we were able to bring the service back to normal operation within minutes. And this type of luxury did not exist before. And that's why, we are very disciplined about having this fully integrated CI/CD pipeline across the system. So after claiming all these wins, we're not done yet. There is a lot more to do. Like the Vitals, we've barely scratched the surface. And, another thing you will notice here is that there is a theme of standardization here. We brought Kong into the mix after some integrations were already live. So one of our goals is to standardize the architecture for all external facing APIs. Also, start using some of the unused features like OAuth 2.0 based service authentication. With the pace layered strategy, our code is pretty clean, but we still find needs to make minor partner specific changes quickly. And sometimes they're temporary. So my goal is to democratize my message transformation throughout the team for such quick and temporary needs, and we avoid that full SDLC cycle. So, those are kind of the areas where we want to grow. However, I will say that this is a snapshot of our roadmap. As we learn more, this is going to be evolving as the new capabilities of Kong come out. So I talked a lot. I would love to take questions as well as actually comments about our implementation and see if I can learn from this wonderful audience today. Thank you so much for joining this session. Have a wonderful day.